Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the fun and action-packed Multifamily Investing Academy's podcast. I'm your host, Charles Dobbins, the multifamily attorney. And today I have a good friend of mine. I was on his podcast. He's now on my podcast. His name is Bill Manassero. Now, Bill is the host and the top dog of the Old Dogs, D-A-W-G. He obviously doesn't know how to spell. REI Network, a blog and a weekly podcast for people 50 and over. Now, he's the expert on people over the age of 50 who are using real estate as a means to fund their retirement years and create a legacy for their children and grandchildren. Now, Bill's goal is to own over 1,000 doors, 1,000 units in less than 6 years. So he's obviously come to the right place with the Multifamily Investing Academy. Now, prior to starting up the REI Network, the Old Dogs REI Network, Bill and his family were missionaries to orphaned, abandoned, and at-risk children living on the streets of Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Welcome aboard. All right, now let's talk about I think it's so cool when you're talking about helping these people over 50 understand how they can get started in this field, because I'll tell you, the majority of my students in my owner forum program are probably 45 to over 50 easily. And it's all because, they didn't set money aside earlier. They're playing catch up. They're looking for a way to leave a legacy. And that, you talk about leaving a legacy, and real estate's a phenomenal legacy.
This is, I started kind of later in life here. I mean, I literally had not invested in real estate. I came from the corporate world. I was also an entrepreneur. I was financial services, automotive industry. I did a lot of different things. And then, later in my life, we were called in the mission field. So we went out and just took a leap of faith, and is a whole different thing. And prior to that, I was a professional musician. So we did a lot of different things. And I was also in tech, very heavy into technology as part of my corporate world. And in that, I know a lot about tech companies. I had a lot of tech stocks, and I've pretty heavily vested in the stock market. But it was real volatile at this time. And I was kind of looking at the market. I'm going, I just don't want to put more money into the market. I don't feel comfortable. And a couple of guys on our board of directors for our nonprofit were real estate guys, and they were real successful. They're in California here. And one guy's a developer, another guy bought apartment buildings. And so I'm kind of looking at this, and I'm going, maybe I'll just buy some passive real estate investment, and I bought 3 properties, all about the same price, approximately. Okay. And I had a duplex and two single family homes. And both of those were 3-bedroom. And I'm looking at this, and I'm going, I'm making twice as much with my duplex. I paid the same money for this thing. I go, okay, duh. That was my sort of my multifamily duh moment, was like, well, what if I had 10 units? Yeah. I'd only have 1 property tax payment, 1 insurance payment, 1 roof to worry about, and I'm looking at this, and I'm going, this is dumb. So I ended up buying a second duplex. And then that's when I kind of said, no, why am I messing with just 2, and then that's where I went. Next thing I bought was a 22 unit, but
good for you.
Yeah. So it was like, it was this educational process that happened. But what was happening is this wasn't just a passive investment anymore. Now I'm really getting into it, and I'm going, okay, why can't this be my job? I mean, I'm having fun, I can set my own hours. I can work when I want. I don't have to, and I could grow this thing. And then a couple of years into it, I said, I'm going to set this goal, 1,000 units in 6 years. And later on, when I met you, I go, this guy's doing it in 5 years. What the heck's wrong with me?
Hey, you're already on the path. I mean, all you got to do in the first year is 20 units. That's all I ask. 20 in the first unit. Now, first year. Now, where did you buy the 20?
Indianapolis.
Oh, okay. All right. Geez, I hear so many, Indianapolis, good, solid, stable market.
It's that slow and steady, solid. Oh man. Yes.
It's typical Midwest.
Yes.
Cincinnati, the same thing. The way, you can buy a property in those areas, and if you pay, the right price for it, it's just going to keep spitting off money. The way you make your big appreciation on those types of deals is you got to buy it low in the first year. That's the only way you're going to see any type of equity growth, significant equity growth. So
yeah, and that was the case with this one. Now, the problem is, I was buying, I had a couple of B properties, but most of them were C's, and this was a C, and in questionable is that a C minus or C.
Well, okay, let me ask you, how'd you find that deal? You're kind of still in Haiti, still kind of making your move back.
I found this property in a place that you recommend nobody to go, and that was on LoopNet. Okay.
Uh,
Yes. Okay.
you have been watching my videos, haven't you? Yeah.
Actually, when you're on my show, you got me on that one. But
Oh yeah, LoopNet is where deals go to die. Yes, yes.
yes, and so I looked at it, and this is the dumb part, is this thing was on LoopNet for a long time, and I'm looking at it for months and months, and I'm thinking it's still on there. This is great, I gotta get this, and so finally I get brave enough to submit an LOI, and it's under contract, after like 3 months of
Why
waiting.
does that always happen? Why? It
Yeah,
always happens. What if it's like the brokers are trained to say that or
yeah.
something?
I was like, I had cold feet, it was my fault.
Yeah, well, hey, it's your first big
Got to
one.
move, right? But it was a big thing for me, 22 units, from these smaller things. So but I did something with the broker, which is a little different. And then I just, it's after he told me he's under contract, I go, fine. I go, and then I hung up, and then I said, why don't I just tell him, who I am, and I'm going to give him my LOI anyway. And if this thing falls through, then what the heck,
Okay, let me just stay for the record here. So
Yeah.
what Bill did is he put in a backup LOI. And whenever you make an offer, it never hurts you. So make the offer. All right, go ahead.
And
So
that's what happened. That's what happened. And I got 3 months, almost 3 months later, he called me, and the guy that was under contract, their funding fell through. He said, "Are you still interested?" And I was totally, I was just stoked at that point, and went in there, and and because it had fallen out, I had a little bit of negotiating power. I said, "Well, you probably, put it at too high a price. Negotiate. I get a great discount on the price. It was about 20% less than what the other person was going to pay. And then after inspection, I was able to knock off some more money. And so, probably around 30, it's like 30% off now, or 35% below what it was originally offered for."
Okay, let me just hold on. You just nailed so many of my lessons. Number one is the biggest lie in multifamily is the asking price. You are now 30% below what they thought the property was worth, and you're probably going to get it for that price.
Right.
The other thing is, like I said, you make an offer, it never hurts you. And then when a property falls out of contract, the knee-jerk response from the broker is the buyer could not perform. When in actuality, it's the property that couldn't perform because the price was too high. The price now has to come down.